going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And I'm joined here today by the founder of Spritz Finance, Chris Sheehan, an MIT computer scientist and repeat fintech entrepreneur. So Chris's previous company, WorldCover, was an international insurtech funded by Y Combinator, Index Ventures, Greylock, and other global VC investors. The company developed parametric insurance products and software, and its IP assets were acquired back in 2021. And now it's on to greener pastures and Spritz Finance, man. So happy to have you here and welcome.
Crypto time. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, very, very happy to be here.
Awesome, man. So what was the vision behind Spritz Finance? And if you want to kind of dovetail that into kind of what it is, the basic outlines, I'm going to pull some things up on screen here too while we talk.
Yeah, sounds good. I've always, even with that company that you just mentioned, the InsurTech, I've always been very motivated to, effectively to build products, financial products for everyday people. I got my career started in the hedge fund world, and it is fun, kind of trading, creating models to move money around. But at the end of the day, are you really helping people do what they want to do in their everyday life? And so after WorldCover, I'd always been very active in DeFi and crypto myself. I said, what could be next? How can I, leverage the power of the blockchain, all of this, smart contracts and whatnot, to create something that makes everybody's lives a bit easier? And I wanted to focus on a pain point that I was experiencing myself, right? Where, DeFi was all fine and wonderful, Friday, Saturday night, getting on to whatever it was, Pancake Swap or something, and Cake and all of that, going crazy. And but at the end of the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, had to go pay the bills, right? Had to log into my checking account and figure out how to make that happen, how to move some assets from crypto world into the real world. And asking around, finally getting on Twitter, talking to a lot of users just like me all around the country and then eventually the world. Seems like this is actually a pretty huge problem that even Coinbase, crypto.com, all of those only go so far to solve. And I said, hey, let's try to create a product and a service, which is now Spritz, centered around these self-custody wallets where we're not going to ask for your assets. We're just going to effectively help you bridge your crypto assets over to the real world. You keep your assets, and we'll just kind of give you these superpowers around your wallet. So yeah, we started with bill pay service. We can talk more about it. Started on Polygon. Since then, have greatly expanded the platform.
Yeah, take us through the beginning stages. And I know you guys are multi-chain now, but how did it all begin? And I know you guys had a lot of things happen in 2022, and we'll roll through some of those. But take us back to the beginning.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, in the beginning, and this is even back end of 2021, when I was first, working out the idea. I actually met a few folks on, like I mentioned, on crypto Twitter, who had already been kind of talking about, man, it'd be so cool if I could, pay my bills with crypto, pay my mortgage with crypto. So I actually approached them and DM'd and said, hey, here's who I am. I'm working on this idea. How about I pay your mortgage for you, and you just send me crypto, whatever you got. If it's SHIB, if it's LP tokens on QuickSwap, if it's Bitcoin, I'll take it as long as it's fair value, and I'll make the payment. I'll call the mortgage company, or I'll hook it up to my own bank account and pay the bills for you.
That's cool.
So I actually got a handful of people, willing to trust me to do that. And I started to do it, and it was just amazing. I think both for me and especially for them, really to feel the magic almost. Like, whoa, I just sent this guy, some sushi USDC LP tokens on Polygon, ERC20 transfer, right, of LP tokens. And I just got an email from my bank saying my mortgage, payment was made this month. Hey, Chris, awesome. Can you do my credit card now? Hey, I've got a student loan. Can you do that? And I was like, whoa, let's hold up here. But, that's where I really realized, this is there's something to this.
That's really, really cool. And so I'm really fascinated and curious about this. Like, how are the logistics with some of the banks? Do you have to work with them kind of in a one-on-one fashion? How does that work?
Thank goodness, no. And I mean, a lot of people also ask, why now? Why not? Why wasn't this existing, 10 years ago? Maybe the answer is obvious to some people. Back in the day, you have, companies like Refill, right? Who would, essentially the only way to use your Bitcoin in the real world was to purchase a gift card, and you still actually have some people, a lot of people that I meet who are still kind of in that world where they love, let me just buy a $500 Amazon gift card, spend it. Let me buy my Starbucks gift card. Luckily for me as a builder and as a developer, in the ensuing years, there's been tons of Web 2 and Web 3 companies. Everyone knows Plaid, perhaps, right? But there's a lot of other companies, even kind of better, I think, nowadays, that enable this connectivity to thousands and thousands of billers or banks out there. So Spritz that's why we're truly a hybrid project. So we've got these partners that can allow us, give us connection to, Apple Pay cards or Apple Credit Card or, Chase Sapphire or Rocket Mortgage. And then our job at Spritz is to really make the user experience really smooth, and then value the crypto and kind of build the smart contracts to make it happen. So yeah, short answer is we don't need to work directly with those banks. We can use some partners, and maybe in the future we'll do some more direct partnerships.
That's really cool. So, how have you seen this used the most so far for people?
Yeah, we've got a lot of popular. I mean, honestly, just like me, like a Chase Sapphire seemed to to take the world by storm, 4 or 5 years ago. So there are a lot of people like me who have that card, and credit card's really easy for people to start with because it's, you can make a $1 payment to your credit card. Maybe people don't realize that, but you can make a $1 or $10 payment just as a test. And so we actually have a program at Spritz because a lot of people were thinking, is this too good to be true? There's no way that if I, actually send some tokens over to Spritz that I'm going to get an email from Chase that says my bill is paid. There's just no way that can happen, that it's legit. So we said, you know what, we'll just match you dollar for dollar for your first $10 payment, literally kind of just give you money for free to show you that this works. So credit card, very, very popular. But once people, whether it's a credit card or maybe utility bill, do something small and trust us, then we see the auto loans come through. We see especially the student loans come through, and then for homeowners, we've got actually a lot of people doing their mortgages. So it really runs the gamut. I think the challenge for us is to create a service where if you're in Las Vegas and want to pay your water bill with Spritz, you can do it. If you're some kind of whale or earning a ton of passive income on chain and you want to make a $20,000 payment to your MX Platinum card, you can do that, and we've got everything in between.
So, do you think that's something 2023, something a little bit further down the road?
Yeah, what's that? All of those accounts, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, in terms of where you would like to get it to, like,
Yeah. Well, all of those that I listed are there today, right? So we've got, I think for most people, if you look at your bank account, again, US, we can talk about other countries and markets, right? But if you're in the US, and we don't do this, but if we could look at your checking account, what are the little things, little and big things coming out of it? Your Verizon phone bill, your SoFi card or something like that. We can cover that today. Whereas you know, uh, really where we're looking at expansion is other networks. So Cardano, Bitcoin, and then also other countries, like I mentioned, right? So Canada, we're actually planning a Canada launch in February, and then kind of onward for there. So that's where the platform's going in the future.
yeah. So right now, for everybody just tuning in, just U.S. based only, but coming to a country near you, hopefully soon. And so
Yeah.
Canada up next. And by the way, guys, as we're kind of going through this, all the links are down below if you're interested in checking everything out. I've got the website down there. I've got their Twitter page down there. So if you want to get involved, so it looks like last year 1.2 million in total payment transaction volume. That's pretty good. Was that the first full year in 2022?
Yeah, and actually that was just a few months, right? And we're kind of doing that nearly on a monthly basis now, and kind of growing even quickly through that today. So yeah, we launched in about July of 2022. Very small group of users kind of helped us iron out all the kinks, making sure that the UX is great. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoy it, and there's this kind of fun theme about the spritz, and kind of the it's a cocktail, and you're kind of relaxing on the beach while your money works for you rather than you working for your money.
Nice.
And then obviously the back end, right? Making sure the smart contracts are secure, making sure that all the data is secure and the partners. And so yeah, we launched in July, like I said, in Polygon. Sandeep from Polygon was one of our very earliest investors. The Polygon community has been amazing to us, but we sort of follow where the users want us to go. And they said, hey, what about ETH mainnet? Hello. And then BSC more recently, right, with the
Yeah.
BUSD stablecoin, really, really popular, but we've got these other layer twos and more on the way as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you could see the top tokens used for payments. No surprise there, right? Like stablecoin payments, that makes sense. So the other tokens, though, 41%. What other tokens are in there? I'm just curious. What is
Yeah,
it? What?
very interesting. There's a lot. I mean, it's kind of runs the gamut, right? So, I mean, Matic is listed there, but obviously, actually, SHIB is a big one. We've got a lot of people in other networks. I mean, kind of, Cake if you're talking about BSC,
Yep.
BNB itself, that's listed there. So, and then some of the wrapped tokens that are, bridged to other chains are very popular, obviously.
That's very cool. So, three different product releases last year. So we've got Bill Pay, we've got Off Ramp, and Spritz Pay, which was something that came out real late in 2022. You want to kind of
hmm
take us through all three of these and kind of what they do for
hmm
the end user?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bill pay, we like to think they're self-explanatory, but people have different terms for everything, right? So bill pay is to pay effectively any recurring um, bill that's with a company or an institution that's typically coming out of your checking account today. So we're not talking about paying an invoice, for your plumber, which is something we might, we're working on, but this is something like your electricity bill, your credit card bill, your mortgage bill or payment every month. And the way we're not using Plaid, we use something actually a few partners even better than that. So actually the process to add these accounts into Spritz is really cool. You don't even need your username and password. A lot of times we can pull those bills just with the account number, or even just with your name and email. Um, and then once they're loaded into our system, you can make either a recurring payment or one-time payment to any of these bills. Off ramp is, make a payment effectively to yourself, but you're converting your crypto into US dollar fiat, and we're sending that to your bank account. And this is really cool because for most banks, probably 90-95% of them, it's actually instant to get the off ramp. So you could be sitting on whatever it is, SHIB token and 5K worth or something, and go into Spritz and click the single transaction with us, and load up your bank account, and the $5,000 is there. For those other 5% of accounts, it's either same day or next day into your account. So that's very requested and exciting use case for people. We're seeing more and more usage. And then the Spritz Pay is for everybody else. The biggest use case is rent, right? A lot of people are renting from an individual even, and it's like, hey, your landlord is David. He's got a ACH and a routing number that you're making a payment to every month or cutting a check. So Spritz will basically cut that check for you or make the bank payment for you, and you're paying it off of your tokens that are in your self-custody wallet. Maybe you're paying a family member, grandmother, maybe your kids or something like that to their bank account. Maybe you yourself have a few bank accounts, right? So that's where you can use the Spritz Pay service.
That's awesome. So I'm assuming that it's mostly kind of just individual people, paying their bills. Is there a vision for like larger companies, smaller companies? Is that something you've already seen interest in?
Mhm.
What would you say with that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, not surprisingly, especially in crypto, or maybe some of your viewers, Zach, maybe even yourself, right? For people who are earning income on chain through trading, passive income, creating content, whatever, freelancing, a lot of those folks have set up LLCs, right, or entities where they're then able to, open up credit cards or maybe pay for a WeWork bill or whatever it is through that entity. So that's kind of the first next step for us, where people are saying, hey, I've got a really small business. It might even be just myself. I'd love to have a personal Spritz account, maybe get my wife on there or something, right? And then also my business account. So that's the first step.
That's me, by
But
the
then
way.
yeah, so okay, great. So I not to presume, but it's a fairly common situation.
Yep.
And then, moving up to the DAOs, the crypto projects that are sitting on, lots of crypto or their native token where they've got to pay out of their treasury for a lot of these bills. That's kind of the next step for us. And then, the larger companies, I think, can wait for now. So we get a lot of requests for the business. I think Spritz business account is on its way. Maybe this is later on this year, but it's on the roadmap.
Very cool. I'm dialing this back a little bit, just going a little bit more macro. How did you get started in crypto?
Oh man, I mean, well, I'm a trader sort of by training and by habit. So even after college, after MIT, I joined Deutsche Bank as a proprietary trader. Um, you know, let's just say I want to say gambling the internal money, but it's basically saying, hey, how do we take this balance sheet and squeeze the most out of it
Sure.
by creating algorithms, running algorithms, which ultimately through regulations had to be spun out later. And so, at that group, all of us kind of being, smart guys thinking about, money and all of that, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, a lot of those early assets, especially on Coinbase, were really interesting and attractive to us, and I remember in the, 2012 or even earlier, trading, buying and selling Bitcoin around, $10 and kind of, feeling your heart leap when it drops from $10 to $4, and then back again to $8. So that was, pretty extraordinary. I wasn't fortunate or smart enough or maybe dumb enough, at least it seemed at the time, to hold on to all that Bitcoin. But it always
Me
kind
too.
of, caught my eye. And then, throughout the world cover journey, my former company, obviously I was heads down as a founder, just building that company. But following actually my co-founder at that business is Shilang Tang, who became the CIO at Ledger Prime, which is a digital asset investor. So he had always clued me into all the interesting things going on with blockchain and with EVM and with Cardano, Polkadot, Kusama, like all of the kind of blossoming, fragmented world of smart contracts. And that's where then coming into do something new. I said, what's more interesting to a person like me than marrying finance and money with the ability to program and write code to actually govern the movement of that value. And so yeah, I mean that's why DeFi and blockchain to me is kind of like yeah, just kind of feels like a very natural fit.
I love it, man. Where do you see? I always ask this question. I always like getting this answer from different people, different folks. Uh, where do you see it in 5 years? What's going to change the most from right now, today, 5 years
Yeah,
in
I mean, there's
crypto?
a lot of ways to answer that. You could take a regulatory view, an institutional view. What do everyday people and retail, consumers and users of blockchain think? I think one thing we're seeing for sure is moving away from the more speculative phase of crypto to more of the utility or utilitarian phase of
Yep.
crypto, right? So people are really thinking about, hey, okay, it'd be nice if this asset goes up in price or if I can earn some yield, but sort of what else beyond that can I do with this protocol, with this token, with this project, with this community, with this NFT? So it's really forcing like the builders like me or the DAOs to come up with, I think, healthier and more holistic, reasons for existence, right, for all of these projects. So I think that absolutely is blossoming. I think with all the infrastructure that's being built by a lot of the other founders like me around this time, we're going to see much better usability of all of the apps and everything, and just like Spritz is doing, like integrating with the real world. And I hope that we're going to see a bit more regulatory clarity about what's security, what's token, who can do what. Um, it's not great for anybody to kind of have that gray area for users or for builders like me. So we'll respond as necessary to whatever comes out, but I am hoping to get some answers there. And then I think from there, sort of sky's the limit on where the ecosystem can grow to.
I agree 100%. And I think we kind of saw it in 2021. It was, the
Hmm.
Dogecoin, the SHIB era. And there's a lot of people who listen to my channel from SHIB. And, funny enough, people still kind of talk bad on SHIB. I mean, they are adding utilities. I think everybody who's chasing after them, maybe they're more, kind of just
Yeah.
chasing after the name. But it's interesting because I think you're right. And I think, a lot of that era brought a lot of people in, but even those same people who came in through the speculative door now see it as, okay, that was cool while it lasted, but now we're here. And especially with the FTX situation and the big fallout there, it's like anybody who's still hanging in here and locked in every single day, they see the real world utility. So I love what
Hmm.
you guys are building, and I think
Yeah.
more people need to do it. So let me ask you this: have you guys talked with anybody just from a partner perspective, like any other companies out there, like that kind of align with this that could help you and you could help them, kind of
Well,
thing?
there's a lot in the crypto world that, we're continually exploring, which, obviously I can't comment too much on. We've got an ongoing partnership with QuickSwap, right? One of our earliest partners on Polygon. So actually, if you go to quickswap.exchange, both their main homepage and then their decks, they've got buttons right there to refer their users to Spritz. And actually on the back end, it's a custom experience, quickswap.spritz.finance. And on the back end, they're actually getting, we're using their decks, right, to do the swap. So that's a little QuickSwap partnership. There are other dexes, there are wallets that we're starting to work with to actually embed our functionality into the wallet. So, Spritz doesn't, you can use the Spritz app, but we're also happy to partner with other projects to enable functionality there as well. So, yeah. And then the real, kind of the TradFi side, I think once we sort of, continue to grow, that's going to open up some of the partnerships to, can we work directly with with American Express or with Rocket Mortgage to get our users even a better deal.
That's so cool that Sandeep was one of the first private investors.
Yeah,
Did you guys know him, or did he just kind of get word of what you guys were building and was like, "Hey, this is awesome"? Or how
yeah.
did
We
that play
sort
out?
of we kind of made the decision to move forward on Polygon as our kind of anchor network. At the time, it was very timely with their growth, and we liked the way that they were very easy to use in terms of gas and network kind of durability. They were very accessible, both he and his team, and the ecosystem partners. And so we got introduced, through Shilling and through some of my other investors. And ultimately, they liked, sort of what Spritz's mission is aligns very much with what Polygon's trying to do, which is, sort of create a lot of use case for the masses, I would say, in crypto. So it was a natural partnership.
Yeah, so let me pull this up on the site because it's super super easy to use. I haven't made a payment yet, but I've went in, connected my wallet. I've seen kind of what it looks like. If you're in DeFi, you're gonna get this. It's super intuitive. But if you want to kind of take us through this a little bit, Chris, that'd be awesome. Just kind of
Sure.
for some of the novice people out there or the new people into crypto.
Hmm.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so we've got a couple, this is the main sort of bills pay screen where you can add your bills. So the find your bills button will actually, depending on if you enable it, it will actually auto find some bills. So you've already done a light KYC process with us, which, you could talk about. It's typically name, address, email. Once you've got, and again, if you opt in, we can actually find your bills and it'll say, hey, Zach, you've got a student loan here. Do you want to add it? One click and it's there and it's payable. Or you can actually go, if you go back to all accounts, you can just add a bill manually. So maybe click that middle button, and then you can add, click credit cards, and you'll see some of the common ones here. Should pop up, or you can search for whatever it is, Chase or American Express or something like that. Um, and then you've got, if you go all the way back to the yeah, so you've got all of
Very
these,
cool.
right? Disney card, so if you Avon, so if you've got these cards, you can pay them with Spritz. Be surprised. There's a lot of corners of the fintech market, right? So, yeah, like I said, utility bills, everything, and then yeah, and then this is the off ramp. So you basically add in your account information, kind of, and then it becomes immediately off rampable, right? So, you'll make a transaction with us. So yeah, we could demo the app, or maybe you can do it if you do a recording later.
Yep.
But then once you've got the bill added, it becomes payable. You just would click pay bill, and then it's a single transaction from your self-custody wallet to make a payment.
It's very simple, yeah. This is super intuitive. On that note, just from a macro standpoint, again, because I'm already sensing you've been around blockchain for a while and you're super technical and smart. How do we make it easier for people out there to utilize DeFi? I mean, this is pretty intuitive for us, right? But I think we often forget, like, people are like,
Yeah.
what the heck's a MetaMask? What the heck's Wallet Connect? What the heck's slippage? What the,
Oh
all of
yeah.
these terms that, these things. How do we make it easier for people?
Yeah, I think, well, one, right there on that last screen, there's something that a lot of our users struggle with. If you've got MetaMask, you've got Coinbase Wallet, great. You know what
Yep.
they are, right? Because you've got it. But what if you have Trust Wallet, Exodus, you name it, or even just a ledger,
Yep.
then you've got to use this Wallet Connect. And, we don't love it either, but it's sort of the standard in Web3 for connecting to, all of these different wallets to different dApps. And to be frank, the Wallet Connect experience is not very good. It feels really disconnected. It fails and disconnects. What am I actually doing here? So I think there's a lot of opportunities for wallet providers or for dApps, or I'm not sure really whose role it is to to improve this, because at the end of the day we're all decentralized and there's a big community, but
Yeah.
it's a big problem. And maybe number two is, when signing transactions, to create much more, like you said, slippage, to set the gas limits and all of that. I don't think most users want to or need to understand what those are, but they also don't want to get ripped off or worse. So to be able to provide that information really user friendly, simply, robustly, when you're signing a transaction is super important too. And I'm hoping folks like Ledger and others, the wallet providers, will be working together to make that easier in the future.
Yeah, there is a swap out there now that automates your slippage. That's pretty cool, actually. So
Mhm.
I think as much as we can automate this stuff, where it's like, people are interacting with the blockchain and crypto without even knowing it. I think maybe
Yeah.
gaming helps us get there a little bit, right? Because
Uh-huh.
it's like, I feel like that simplifies it, right? Where it's just like, okay, yeah, it's like, wait, what did I just do? I was okay, all right, I just paid some. Okay, that was easy. That was I didn't have there. That wasn't a huge learning curve. I
Mhm.
think we're getting there. And only 5% of people in crypto, so we've got some time. We've got some
Yeah,
people that
exactly.
are gonna come in, man. Yeah,
Long
for
way to
sure.
go.
Yeah. So in terms of 2023, like, what are you guys working on right now? Like, where, if it was like the top three things that you guys were focused on right now heading into the new year, what are they?
Yeah, so I think front and center is, we've got a lot of requests from folks in Canada, UK, Australia, and then of course many many other countries to access Spritz. And so we actually have plans to launch in Canada in mid-February. So that's on the way. It's on the roadmap. In terms of the other countries, we're just working internally to figure out the best way to launch, because not everyone is using, for example, credit cards in the same way in UK as they are in the US, right? The banking system, the payment system and the habits are a lot different. So that's maybe a longer roadmap, but that's why I ask people to get onto Spritz. Kind of, there's many places to give feedback, kind of upvote different countries to tell us about, hey, I want the UK, and here are the two bills that I've got in my sites that I want to pay with crypto. Can you help make that happen? So, and we've got people in the meantime who are Revolut users, who are users of
Mhm.
Wise, right? TransferWise, and a lot of these other kind of international fintech products that are already using Spritz to off ramp into those accounts, into their Revolut account, into their Wise account. But we'd like to make the connection even closer for them. So yeah, countries, and then maybe one more I'll give you that we're very excited about is a debit card.
Mm.
And so a lot of people are asking for this, and it's not required. It's not for everybody on Spritz, but a lot of people are asking and saying, hey, thanks for allowing me to make a payment to my existing, whatever it is, Amazon credit card, with my SHIB or Dogecoin, directly from my wallet. But my mental model of how I spend my money is, I've got my crypto bag or my crypto account, I've got a purchase I want to make, and I just want to connect them more seamlessly. Can you just give me a card that is backed by, fully backed by my self-custody wallet. And so that's exactly what we're working on, where, you can kind of adjust the spending power of the card instantly, and then at the point of sale, swiping, or you're in, Google Pay, or just at Amazon.com, you're able to just make the payment right then and there, and then we'll sweep the crypto as necessary. So very excited about that. We want to be very careful and kind of, make sure everything's working well. So that'll be kind of later in Q1.
I love it, man. So how close do you think we are in the US for a good number of the population to be, paying for things? And maybe, I mean, bills I think is a great starting point, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
how about a coffee? Like, how far are we away from that?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of disappointing when, Starbucks rolled out their rewards program, and then they've got the kind of this crypto NFT program. But I
Polygon.
think,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, Polygon. But you can't actually. I'm not sure you can actually make a transaction. When you step up to the counter and pay, which is kind of, disappointing. And so we've got a long way to go, like it or not. It's sort of chicken and egg, right? Because a lot of people aren't going to be in crypto and using crypto until Starbucks or Walmart, fully supports it. But
Right.
Walmart or Starbucks aren't going to fully support it until they see everyone use it. So, what's going to be the piece that kind of, unlocks that? And it's just going to be, things are going to move slow until they move fast. And so, yeah, 5 years from now, I think, you're not going to be able to pay your utility bill or your taxes directly with crypto. 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 30 years from now, right? I think that's where, services like Spritz, and then, Coinbase, crypto.com, all of these other kind of, CeFi or DeFi services can step in and play a real role. But the other thing to add is crypto is so fragmented too.
Mm,
Even if, pay with ETH, well, that's not going to fly with Cardano users, right? Or
right.
Solana users. And so that's where, again, I think Spritz
Bitcoiners.
has a role to
Yeah.
kind of integrate all these things.
Yeah. Or the Bitcoin maximalists.
Well, of course, yeah.
Right. Um, but so that's fascinating. So I'll give you a quick story, and I think this is I think everybody can glean from this. It's so frustrating going through the banks for purchasing. So like I bought a new
Yeah.
car, and I bought it in cash. I couldn't get that car for 10 days.
Wow.
I mean, think about that. It was like the back and forth, the wiring this, and it's like, oh, now it's
Like the
over a
cash is
weekend.
there. Where is it?
Cash,
Yeah.
100%. And it's like the whole time I was there, I was just thinking like crypto, crypto, crypto. Like I could just one button in 10 seconds, it's there, it's gone.
Yeah, because even, even in the banking world, if you send an ACH payment, or I mentioned rent, theoretically you can call your bank and say, "Oops, I made a mistake. Can you pull this
Right.
back?" Right? And the banks talk to each other and pull it back. So it's a feature and a bug, of that system,
Yeah.
where it's not final, right? In crypto, it's final, and that's, once the crypto hits your wallet, it's yours. It's not coming back. But of course, that creates a great, a deal of risk and also responsibility. So it is, it's a double-edged sword, and that's where I think UX and everything comes in to kind of enable that, for us to use the power, the instantaneousness of crypto without all the fear for people around, mistyping an address or something like that.
Does Spritz have any ideas or thoughts about NFTs? And if so, what would it look like? And I guess what are your
Sure.
general thoughts on NFTs?
Yeah, well, I mean, NFTs are certainly here to stay. I mean, from all sorts of perspective, it's not really just the art collectibles anymore. I mean, there's all sorts of things like subscription NFTs, right?
Mhm.
What if I were to wrap my Spotify subscription in an NFT, and then I could buy and sell that essentially, right? And kind of wind it down. I could perhaps prepay for a Spotify subscription. So I think there's a lot of DeFi interesting things to do for with NFTs. As for Spritz, we actually explored, even with our pricing model, offering, and we might do this in the future, right? Offering a subscription NFT, almost like a lifetime membership to Spritz, right? For a certain amount up front, and you'll get an NFT that represents that you've got this, effectively, this license to use Spritz. Maybe you'll get invited to, some of our events, like at ETH Denver, et cetera. You get kind of cool artwork. In the meantime, we do have plans for a kind of a small or a lightweight NFT launch just for some of our earliest or most active users. So I don't have any details to share on that, but I think it's just a wonderful way to create and nurture a community and create something that is not necessarily soul bound token, but something that at least is proof or something you can kind of take home digitally to say that you've been part of something.
Yeah, where do you think, just kind of more macro question, where do you see the future of NFTs, like, maybe taking off first? Is it like deeds? Is it just ownership of a physical item, and you have the digital representation? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in the real world, we'll see, right? I think it'll ultimately come from, I mean, NFTs still representing loans or representing DeFi loans, I think, or staked assets is kind of here already. So in some ways, um, the NFT, I believe, would start kind of in the on-chain DeFi world, and then will it be recognized by the TradFi world, like the mortgage providers or the title holders or something like that. I think that's kind of the direction that things would go, rather than all of a sudden the mortgage provider saying, "Yeah, we're gonna issue NFTs to our customers." But it's just such a diverse, creative space that I think it's very, very hard to predict what's going to be the killer app, so to speak, for NFTs for the masses.
Another question. So I'm sure you have a ton of friends still from the traditional finance world. What do they say about crypto? Like, what are their thoughts? Have their thoughts shifted and changed?
I think the range of what they say is probably similar to the range of whatever your friends Zach might say, even outside of finance,
We're
about
crazy.
about what you do, right? So
Yeah.
some are, it's funny. There are a lot of intellectual types and financial types who are infatuated with Bitcoin, blockchain, and who don't own a single, you know, bit of a single Satoshi, right?
Why is
And
that?
it's sort of like, well, it's a anything new is risky, right? So even when in my former company, we were selling insurance policies against weather events, and insurance is designed to reduce your risk, right? But a new insurance policy itself is risky because it's new. So I
Yeah.
think counterintuitively, right? Anything new is very risky and potentially threatening to people, and it's a lot easier to just kind of read, watch CNBC or YouTube and not dive in. And I just urge people again and again, just take $100, $10, whatever's within your means, and just buy the darn thing and get and go from there, right? And that's the best way to get started. So yeah, kind of I've got folks on all sides of the aisle, so to speak, kind of a different kind of aisle.
So we're with Chris from Spritz Finance. Again, all the links down below in the description, guys. Pay your bills in real life with crypto. Any bills you want, pretty much they've got you covered. So all the links are down there. Chris, is there anything I didn't ask or anything we didn't go over that I may have missed that you want to just make sure you tell the people about when it comes to Spritz?
Yeah, I just want to encourage people to sign up. You can go to the site, get beta access. If you're watching this video here, I think if we're going to give you a link, Zach, to share with some of your viewers, they should use that link. Once you sign up, like I said, every bill you add is not just the first bill. You're getting $10 free to give it a test. So there's literally it's less than no risk to try us. Every month, the first $100 of payments is free. So if literally $0 charged. So if you want to get your cell phone bill on there or your water bill or something, or just do $100 a month to your credit card in part, like again, you're getting that free from us. And then if you're going to refer your friends, right? Maybe you've got a group of friends, one of you should sign up. And then we've got a get 50, give 50 promotion. So you sign up and you'll actually get $50 back, and your friend will get $50 to pay towards their bill if they sign up. So, a huge amount of, I think, incentives to give us a try. It just takes a few minutes to go through the KYC or to find the bills. Very, very simple. So yeah, just kind of really encourage you guys to check out Zach's link that he'll provide.
Definitely. Yeah. My link will be down below in the description here as well, everybody. And Chris, really enjoyed the conversation, man. I appreciate you stopping by, and really cool with you guys, what you guys are building, man. This is awesome.
Yeah. Thanks,
That's what it's
Zach.
all
Yeah, this
about.
is a lot of fun. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Definitely. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.